Okay, here we are with another Becoming a Modern Man video, playing Scars and Stripes again, black-green zombie aggro deck. Let's get underway. Put wins the roll. See if we can get our opener up. So this is our opener. It's only got one land in it, which is a little awkward, but we do have two grave crawlers, and I think we decided to keep it. Obviously we would like to find another land, but it's fine. I'm not sure why I didn't play a grave crawler on turn 1. No, I'm not sure why I didn't do it. Can't figure that out. But anyway, might have been a misclick. Opponent plays out an Ascension. Looks like he might be Storm. I'm going to tap for 2 here. Run out the lot left draw. I'm just going to play Sleight of Hand into Serum Visions. It's almost got that Ascension active. Just going to throw my Gravecrawler to my Troll. Gets me an extra point damage, and I can replay the Gravecrawler. Run a Abrupt Decay seems like a good way to get rid of this Ascension. Obviously, once that gets active, things are going to be pretty rough. Opponent plays Electromancer and starts going off. A lot of rituals. Do another Ascension. More rituals. Plays out Desperate Ravings. Adds Manamorphose, which is the key card here, so he can make blue mana and start reusing his blue spells. And yeah, opponent's going to be able to go off here quite nicely. Stomp out of 19, and that'll finish us off. So yeah, unfortunately, despite getting rid of the Ascension, we are going to take a lot of damage here, and that will wrap that game up. Going through all the Grape Shot coffees here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and dead. So our opponent won on turn 4, despite our attempts to disrupt him. Go on to game 2. Bringing in all our dresses from the sideboard, so the maximum discard is the best possible way. Looks like we mulliganed. I didn't get a chance to see the original hand, but I was going to assume that was a good decision. We Inquisition, we see quite an interesting hand. Opponent's got double Blood Moon, which is kind of awkward. My deck's actually quite weak to Blood Moon, strangely enough, just because we don't run basic forests, because it makes things like Gross Messenger worse. Maybe we should be running like one basic forest, just to help out in that regard. Though I think most decks would probably not keep Blood Moon in against us. Obviously our opponent did on this occasion. Anyway, what we see is a ritual, double Blood Moon, and an Empty the Warrens. I'm just going to take the Ascension. I think, you know, we're going to have to be aware that he's got Blood Moon, but it's going to be one of those things. I find a lot less Troll. I like that quite a lot. It means that if he does end up playing Blood Moon, which he might well do, he might well ritual into Blood Moon next turn. I can still throw away my cards into the Troll. That also means I can just play a land to get Bloodghast back, and I don't have to worry about this being a mountain and not being able to produce black. We could have Thought Season instead, taken the ritual, but it didn't particularly like that. Also, if he uses ritual into Blood Moon, that's 2 less cards in his hand, makes him using Storm a lot more difficult. So I think I'm better off just going this way. I probes to look at our hand, decides to go for the Blood Moon, which, as I say, it's not ideal, but it's fine. We duress, we see a Sleight of Hand, a Desperate Ravings, a Blood Moon, and an Empty. Could have taken the Empty, I suppose. Makes it a little bit more difficult for him. But I like taking the Sleight, just because it's a draw spell. He can't actually empty with the current cards in his hand, so I'm not too worried about it at the moment. So yeah, I just thought I'd take the Slight. Could take the Ravings, but as it has value in the graveyard, I wasn't too sure if that would be a good idea or not. Maybe, as it lets him see slightly more cards. I don't know. Debatable one, I suppose. Maybe we should have got rid of the Ravings just because it makes him use his mana less efficiently. So I put Ravings, end up discarding the Empty and the Slight. I thought seeing my opponent's Electrolyze, Manamorphose, Double Blood Moon. By Electrolyze I mean Electromancer, sorry. Electromancer isn't the worst, but I think that's the card I wanted to get rid of. Can potentially sort of chump my Lot Less Troll, and also just makes everything cheaper. Means you can go a little bit further. I suppose I could have got rid of the Manamorphose instead. That way it makes it a little bit harder for him to draw cards. But I didn't like him having Electromancer. Also means he can flash back this Desperate Ravens for a cheaper amount, and he won't have to find another land. So quite like just getting the Electromancer. Manamorphose is into a Manamorphose, into a Sleight of Hand, into an island, into a Sleight of Hand. Unfortunately nothing more comes of that. We found a Choke, which is another card we brought in from the sideboard. Would have been nice, but obviously this Blood Moon is blocking us from having green mana. And managed to beat my opponent down. I should have played that land earlier because I have my opponent below 10, so Bloodghast would have come in with haste. I kind of forgot that my lands were still important because of Blood Moon turning them all off. But yeah, that worked out nicely, and we managed to get the kill on turn 6. So let's go on to game 3. So we had a no-lander to start with. I think our last hand in the first game was a no-lander as well, because I remember being a little bit frustrated by that. This is a decent hand. You can get this Choke online, that would be quite nice. Lot Less Trolls, that was good. Gross Messenger maybe a little expensive. And yeah, we should have started out with these Gatekeepers. I think I made a mistake on that part. There are a few cards that aren't particularly good. I've done quadruple Gitaxian Probes, rather bizarrely. Picked him quite a lot far down on life, which is good for us. Seems as though that's planning to go and beat him down. Also, him using 4 Gitaxian Probes means he's not going to be able to activate Ascension by using a Gitaxian Probe, which is also very good. Inquisition here. Let's see if we can take a look at the hand. The front has Electromancer, Pyromancer, Ascension, Empty the Warrens, and Desperate Ritual. Kind of want to get rid of either of these 2 cards, Ascension or Electromancer. I think I end up going for the Electromancer just because it means he can Desperate into an Empty, which seems bad. To take the Electromancer, it's a bit harder for him to cast the Empty and the Warrens. I suppose not too much harder, but also currently he's only got Sleight of Hand in his graveyard. He's used up all his Gitaxian Probes, so I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to get Pyromancer Ascension going. So that's why I took the Electromancer. Definitely a debatable pick there. Not sure whether it was the right one. So I'm going to run out my Lot Less Troll. Probably going to end up throwing this Gatekeeper into it. Seems though Gatekeeper is just going to be a 2-mana 2/2 for the most part. I suppose that would have been a reason to give him the Electromancer, is that I could have potentially Gatekeepered if I'd drawn another land, but unfortunately I did not. There's a mountain. Plus we don't draw another land. If we had, we would have been able to cast Choke here, and that would probably just been game. Our opponents tapped both their islands. I mean, he does have an open mountain, but I think it'd be fairly rough on him. I mean, I suppose he can draw another island, I guess, but yeah, it's going to be a really tough time for him. He's It's going to throw the Gatekeeper and the Messenger and our Bloodghast. See a lot less troll. Means we can take off half our opponent's life total, which seems pretty good. Any land brings back our Bloodghast. Actually, given that our opponent was on 10, we should have just hard cast the Bloodghast, so that was a mistake. Could have just hard cast it, getting for the extra 2 points. But given we'd made the mistake, this is still a reasonable line of play. Just getting our a lot left trolls to 5 power and forcing our opponent to go off this turn. So opponent has to go off turn. Manages to get his Ascension going and get a reasonably sized empty the Warrens. They're not particularly great against our trampling lot less troll. So I get a fetch. I'm going to attack here, obviously. I mean, I suppose I could play choke and keep this tap down, but I don't think that's worthwhile. Really, we might as well just keep the pressure on. So he's going to block. I'm going to regen, killing the majority of his tokens, and I've got a fetch to get my Bloodghast back next turn. Opponent doesn't have anything to do on his turn, which is good for us. Obviously Ascension would have doubled up anything and could have made him go off. So that was definitely a scary time for us. We're going to get our Bloodghast back, get into attack here, put our opponent down to 1, cast choke, and opponent doesn't draw anything on his turn, and we managed to win through. So definitely a close one. Maybe got a little bit lucky. A few misplays, particularly with Bloodghast. Got to remember it has haste sometimes, and yeah, the large amount of discard in our deck is definitely good for this matchup, but they're always quite explosive, so you've got to watch out for sure. But that was that.